don't have a mask, but I do have cat ears, so hopefully you have ears to hear what I have to say today about masking. If you had a few moments to break the mold, what would you do? What would you say? If you know me, you know that I have a lot to say. So, the producers of this show, they gave me a time limit, 3 minutes. So in just 3 minutes, I'd love for us to discuss diversity, what it really means, and who's been left out of that definition. It's time for, you guessed it, facts and stats. Did you know that masking is something that affects a majority of individuals on the autism spectrum? So, what is masking anyway? Well, masking is a survival strategy. It's something that happens when neurodivergent individuals realize that something important hinges on them appearing neurotypical. It can be personal safety, it can be a social interaction, it can be a friendship, it can be a job. However, did you also know that masking is linked to anxiety, which affects 85% of individuals on the autism spectrum? So, if masking creates such a barrier, who is creating opportunities for individuals on the autism spectrum to be their true authentic selves in order to make true and authentic connections with their peers and others? Today's guest is doing just that. Join me in welcoming Erman Barati, a blossoming filmmaker, screenwriter, and event producer here in Los Angeles. In 2018, Erman launched Ermantourage, a company that brings people together from film, TV, music, and the entertainment industry in general. Without further ado, please welcome Erman Barati. Hi, Erman. Good morning. Welcome to 3 Minutes with Ifu. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to this interview.
Awesome. Okay, so I just want to start out by just hearing more about your work. Tell us about how have you made a whole career surrounding networking and why you think networking is important.
Absolutely. So I kind of segued into producing events, specifically entertainment events. We know a lot of people go through obstacles, no matter what industry you're in, but especially the entertainment industry. No one's career that I've ever come across has been smooth sailing. We get to know the guest speaker, we get to know their background.
When it comes to the speakers that you bring on, how often is neurodiversity a big topic of those conversations?
Yeah, all the time. The reason why I say all the time, when I choose guest speakers, I don't always know their backgrounds, right? Basically, every single event we do, that does come up in discussion naturally, organically, because the guest speakers happen to be of diverse backgrounds. So we like to learn about their obstacles and the things that they've overcome over time.
And so you bring up obstacles, which I think is like a really great segue into our next part of our conversation. When it comes to people who have autism, especially artists with autism, there are a lot of obstacles they face when trying to get employment in general. So my question is, how can networking events be a little bit more welcoming or a little bit more open to people who may have challenges with social interaction, like those who have autism?
Everyone is welcome. And of course, networking is vital. So if people with autism come to our events, we want them to know that they are wanted. They do have a place in the industry because they do offer a different perspective.
Awesome. I definitely agree with that. Like, what tips can you give a person with autism in building, genuine relationships at networking events?
So I like to use the expression, don't try to win the role, win the room.
All right. Interesting. What does that mean?
What I mean by this, let's think of it from an actor's perspective. The audition for a role, they may not get it, but they are on the radar of the casting director now. Maybe they're not right for the role, but they stood out networking, right? And I think people with disabilities, with autism, they can network with somebody and still win the room with who they are, genuinely. Do I feel like you're being genuine with me? Do I feel like you're being a real person? That's what I remember. Kind of people with autism who say up front, I have autism, when they're networking. And it's an icebreaker, and it shows a level of comfort in themselves to where it breaks down the other person's walls. I think it's cool that you're here, and I love to hear your story. Please tell me more about yourself,
Definitely. Awesome. So my question now is, how can Jazz Hands and your brand collaborate to make more welcoming spaces and just make more networking opportunities for aspiring artists on the autism spectrum?
Love that. Two things that come to mind immediately. One, Y'all should perform for us,
Hey, I like that.
either live or Zoom. We do both live and virtual.
Awesome.
Whenever we have a chance to give back to somebody and make a difference, we like to partner up with them. We like to do third-party events for them.
Awesome. I like the sound of that. Another idea that I had is maybe collaborating to bring in some entertainers who have autism to actually speak to the attendees of your events, and
Absolutely.
that can also further break down the barrier, break the ice, and just create bridges of communication.
That's so cool. I love that. I love to hear it.
Awesome. So we'll definitely be in touch. But as of now, that's all I have for you. And then thank you so much for making time this morning.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate this.
Thank you so much, Armand.